Hi everyone, my name's Ian Gibbs. I'm the Director of Data Leadership and Learning at JICMAIL, and I'm going to be walking you through a short training module on how to extract planning insight from the JICMAIL database. In this module, we're going to be focusing on how to extract a basic data run from the JICMAIL item database. Okay, so in our earlier modules, we focused on how to extract insight from the JICMAIL audience database. We're now going to have a look at the JICMAIL item database. So just as a reminder, rather than focusing on people, this focuses on mail items. We tracked over 56,000 mail items up to the end of Q2 2018. It's going to go up to nearly 70,000 at the end of Q3. It's nationally represented. It's weighted to be representative UK households, although this isn't grossed up to population figures. So overall, if you look at the data, we are literally just looking at a survey of 56,278 mail items. The number below is a weighted figure to make sure that we are representing the population, but for all intents and purposes, the most important figure to look at in terms of sample size is the top number here. Now you'll notice that as you look through the item codebook, there's lots of familiar data there if you've had a look at the audience data set. Whereas the audience data set is used for defining target audiences and looking at how they interact with mail, our item data set provides a slightly more expert view, and rather than looking at what's happening with mail, it looks at why it's happening and the actions that we can associate with direct mail and door drops. So if we look at demographics, you'll see that we've got household size, social grade, region, whether the household is an urban or rural place, how long the house has been lived or owned for, and we've got tenure type as well as geodemographics. Now, also note that in the item database, these variables exist at the household level, not the person level. In terms of survey information, you can look at WAVE in terms of quarters and months, so you can look at trend analysis, looking at what times of year you can expect the greatest response or exposure to mail. And actually, as of next quarter, we'll be introducing day of the week to see if different industry categories are interacted with differently depending on when the mail item is delivered or interacted with. You can also have a look at whether the mail item was interacted with by the household coordinator. We've got our mail description, we'll come back to that in a second, but this is where you can look at your different mail types. We've got mail actions, which we'll cover in a later module, and also mail frequency, which is obviously a variable that we had in the audience data set, but there's a couple of new variables in the item data set as well. One is item reach. So this is the average number of people in a household that a mail item has been interacted with, and also mail lifespan as well. So I'll just show you how to extract very simple data from those variables. So we've already looked at mail frequency in the audience data set, so I won't repeat that here. But in terms of item reach, if you open this up, you'll see that we've got our different types of mail. So addressed advertising, DM, door drops and business. Now these three together are aggregated into commercial. What you'll need to do in the item data set is just select your numeric value here and make sure you select average down below. And then I'm going to drop these three into my rows. So what this tells us is that the average piece of DM or address mail reaches 1.14 people in the household. It doesn't just reach one person, it has an additional reach of 14% than perhaps you might otherwise give it credit for. Door drops, they have an average item reach of 1.05, so an additional reach of 5%. And for business mail, it's 1.18, so they have an additional reach of 18%. So that's how we look at that item reach variable in the item data set. And the other additional metric I just wanted to show you is also mail lifespan. So similarly, with the item reach data, you'll want to select the numeric value. Make sure you select an average. We're going to drop these into our rows. And what this tells us is that the average piece of DM is live in the home for 7.45 days. The average door drop, 5.19 days. And the average piece of business mail, 8.7 days. And that's how you run a basic query in the JICMAIL item database.